want to stay here, so if I do fall, it won't be so far to hit the deck. But again, thanks so much, Marty, for opening up your incredible facility. Thanks to your staff for what you are doing here and taking care of us. God bless you all for weathering through this storm, that you're still here. And I got to tell you something. Thank each and every one of you for your prayers, for your thoughts, and for your well wishes. There is no doubt in my mind that I'm a walking miracle. Nobody survives a motorcycle accident on I-35 at 75 miles per hour. And the fact that I was able to maintain consciousness throughout the entire ordeal, and to be here with you all. Yesterday I had surgery on my right shoulder socket bone. But before that surgery, I got up and I put in about a 3-mile run. Because that's what God would have me to do. God did not raise wimps. He did not raise whiners. He did not raise wussies. He wants warriors. He wants people to stay into the fight, no matter what happens. Greater is He that is in each and every one of you than he that is in the world. And when I think about where we are today, it is time for us to claim that victory. It is time for us to understand that 3 times God told Joshua in the first chapter, be strong and of good courage, for He will not leave you nor forsake you. Yeah, I'm in a little pain. But that pain does not compare to the pain that I see when I look at what is happening in my country. When I look at what is happening right here in Texas. And let me tell you something, folks. I don't know how many of you all remember the movie Outlaw Josie Wales. But at the end, when they're about to have that big firefight, he looked at him and he said, you just got to get dog fighting mad. You got to get dog fighting mad right now, people. Every single one of us agreed that what happened to George Floyd was horrific. It was heinous. It was wrong. We all stood together as Americans, law enforcement officers on down. But as Rahm Emanuel said, someone came up with that idea, never let a good crisis go to waste. And in that moment of unity, we all of a sudden had these groups that seek to divide us, that seek to subjugate us, and to seek to destroy who we are as the American Republic in the great state of Texas. I say no more to this. I say we cannot submit to the mob. We cannot bow down to all of their idiosyncrasies, their threats, their coercions, and their violence. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of these kids that are running around. Their parents should have been spanking their bottoms, but now they're out there telling us what they demand and what they want. How could anyone come up with the idea that because of 4 bad cops in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we need to disband all law enforcement? How can anyone come up with the idea that if you believe in safety and security, that all of a sudden has something to do with white privilege? Let me tell you something. To my white brothers and sisters, you got to stop accepting that crap. Because the more you continue to respond and react to them calling you names, the more they're going to continue to call you names. The more they're going to continue to try to make you feel bad in your own skin. Shelby Steele wrote a great book a few years ago. You should pick up that book. It's called White Guilt. Don't ever let anyone guilt you into who you are. You're looking at a kid that was born in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia. In 1961, I was born in a blacks-only hospital. My dad was born in 1920. My mother was born in 1931. They knew about those hard times. But let me tell you something. My dad went off and fought for this country in World War II. And he trained up my older brother to fight for this country in Vietnam. And he challenged me at the age of 15 to be the first officer in that family. And now the 4th generation is a major still serving in the United States Army. That's what America is all about. It is not about people trying to divide us because of color. It is about e pluribus unum. And we need to be as one. And when we look at what is happening here, even in the great state of Texas, where you have Antifa coming out and saying that they're going to burn South Lake down to the ground, when you have people dropping off pallets of bricks, what is happening? What is happening is that these are the times that try men's souls. If you are a summer soldier, if you are a sunshine patriot, you will shrink away in this crisis. But if you are a person that can find your inner conviction, your commitment, your courage, if you are a person that can find the ability to make a stand, as Thomas Paine said, you will deserve the admiration of all men and women. But most importantly, you will deserve the admiration and the honor of your children and grandchildren and all those that come after you. Because our commitment is to pass on a better Texas and a better America than what was left to each and every one of them, us. Folks, there's only one political organization that can do this, and that's the Republican Party. That's the Republican Party of Texas that was founded on July the 4th of 1867 by 150 blacks in the Houston-Galveston area. That's the Republican Party of Texas who wanted their early chairman of this party was a black businessman, Norris Wright Cooney, 1884 to 1898. How dare you allow anyone to call this party in Texas racist, white supremacist, anything along those lines? But if we don't understand our history, if we're not willing to go on offense and stand toe-to-toe and fight against this incredible, horrific evil that we see happening in the great state of Texas, then if we lose Texas, you can turn out the lights for the United States of America. And that's why they're here. I don't know how many more funerals they're going to have for George Floyd. And I don't say that in jest. I say it to say this. Where's the funeral for police officer David Dorn? See, what you all have to come to understand is that all lives matter. And for an organization to pop up and say that only black lives matter, but really, it's only certain black lives that matter. The 20 million black babies that have been murdered in the womb since 1973, they don't matter. The lives that were lost just this past weekend in Chicago, 18 in Southside Chicago, they don't matter. The lives that are lost because of poor educational opportunities and poor economic opportunities in these inner city communities, they don't matter. But what matters is when they can leverage something to undermine this great nation, to attack our police, to make you fearful. I would have never thought in my 59 years of living that I would see the exact same thing that my father fought against in the European theater happening in the United States of America. National Socialism is what Nazis stood for. Fascism is what Benito Mussolini stood for. And it's happening right here. And it's happened because we, for whatever reason, just kind of fell asleep on our watch. We were out there living our lives, working our jobs, raising our children. But over the past 50 to 60 years, there's been a movement, an incremental movement to get us to exactly where we are today. See, the progressive socialist left, they don't believe in the three branches of government. They believe in the three branches of rule. And the three branches of rule is academia, the media, and our courts. And over these past 50 to 60 years, they have taken control there, and they've taken control in our major population centers. And there are some that believe that they can extend it out here into the suburban areas. You gotta say no. The real fight that we are in is whether or not we still believe in America that the individual is sovereign. And why do I say the individual is sovereign? Because your rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, they do not come from man. They come from a sovereign creator God, which makes you sovereign. But if we start to believe that our rights can be given and taken away from us by the institution of government, if we start to believe that the mob can be the ones to take away our individual rights, then this incredible blessing that we have here in Texas and the United States of America will be lost. Now, I'm pretty pissed off today. Maybe some of y'all saw the little video that I did. Because they attacked a monument in Boston, Massachusetts. that is near and dear to my heart. That monument is to the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, the first black men to ever wear the uniform of the United States of America. They destroyed their memorial. They destroyed their monument in Boston, Massachusetts. Those men who were once slaves, those men who escaped slavery, so that they can say, we believe in this United States of America, and we want to stand beside you and fight for freedom. And now we have people that destroyed that monument. Maybe some of you all remember the movie Glory. That movie was about the 54th Massachusetts Regiment. And to think that we live in a country where we have these radicals roaming the streets who obviously don't understand history, and they would destroy such a monument. That lets me know not all Black lives matter, just the ones that they think will give them political power and political control. So this is what we have to do. This is your call to arms. This is a beautiful facility here. And this facility is indicative of that rugged, indomitable entrepreneurial spirit that says, I have a dream, I have an aspiration, I have a business, I'm going to build that. And remember, it wasn't too long ago, 2012, that we had a president of the United States of America that was running for re-election. And Marty, you know what he said? He said, if you own a business, you didn't build that. And we re-elected him. No more. It is time we respect the American citizen. It is time we respect the Texans that are here working hard for their families each and every day. It is time that we no longer surrender and succumb. I'm sick and tired of everyone saying there has to be more bipartisanship. I am not going to surrender my principles and values to a group or an organization that does not believe in the constitutional republic that we call home, the United States of America, or the great state of Texas. And you should not either. It is time we go home and we start talking to our children and grandchildren. Stop having your child come home and tell you that my professor or my teacher knows better than you do. Stop inculcating, stop allowing others to inculcate their principles and values into your child so that all of a sudden they come home and you don't recognize them. The left has destroyed the traditional nuclear family. As a matter of fact, if you read the Black Lives Matter little manifesto, you know what they say? They say the traditional nuclear family is a sign of white supremacy. When I was born in 1961, the two-parent household in the black community was almost 77%. Today it's 24%. But see, those lives don't matter. The family doesn't matter. We've got to restore that sense of family. We've got to restore that sense of community. When you see your pastors, you got to tell your pastors, stop being a wimp, stop being a wussy, and stand up upon the Word of God and preach what the Word of God says, and stop worrying about what someone's going to do to them. They're supposed to be shepherds of the flock to protect you from the wolves that are out there. And ladies and gentlemen, you got to find your courage. You can't take a knee to tyranny. You can't lay down to the mob. I ain't washing nobody's feet, okay? I'll wash Jesus' feet, but I am not washing the feet of someone that believes that they're here to impose their sense of tyranny on me. There's not a single one of you out there that has ever owned a slave. And I've never been a slave. I'm only a slave to Jesus Christ. To His will. And for anyone to be talking about you owe people for reparations and things of this nature, you don't owe people anything. This great land is a land of equality of opportunity. It says no matter where you are born, no matter where you come from, you can pursue your life, your liberty, and your pursuit of happiness. You can attain whatever you want in this great land. When you think about it, outside of America, there's only one other place that fought for its own independence. And that's the place we call home, the Lone Star State of Texas. met some folks earlier today. They said they moved out here from Illinois and said now that they're inspired to get out here and fight. I want you to find every person that has moved here from California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, wherever. And I want you to ask them a simple question. Why are you here? Why did you leave where you came from? Because we need them to understand that when you flee that tyranny, that despotism, that lack of economic prosperity and opportunity, and you come here to this incredible land, don't bring that mess into Texas. We're in an ideological civil war. Some people said, hey, why didn't you run for Congress and go back up there to be with my former colleague, Michael Burgess? Why didn't you run for Senate? Why are you running to be the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas? Because the fight for America is in Texas. It's not on Capitol Hill. The guns are sounding right here. And those of us that served in the military, we do one thing. We move to the sound of the guns. And I'm asking you to answer that call. To not go home and put cotton in your ears, but you charge. You find out where there's those issues. You find out where there's the struggles. And you go to that struggle. You go to that issue. And you don't back down. Our future is dependent upon it. Let me close by saying this. There's some times in life that you can be blessed with that opportunity to be able to make a difference. Some people can go, their entire lives and never face a trial, a tribulation, or a challenge. In Romans chapter 5, verses 3 through 5, it talks about how trials and tribulation produces perseverance. And perseverance produces character. And character produces hope. And that is not hope in man, but it is hope in something that is greater than that. What I want you to do is go out and find the trial. Go out and find the tribulation. A diamond is nothing but a lump of black rock until you put it through intense pressure and heat. Steel is not purified until you put it through pressure. In James chapter 1, it says, count it all joy when you come into trials and tribulations. Thomas Jefferson once said, in matters of style, swim with the current. But in matters of substance, stand like a rock. I'm asking you to go stand like a rock. I'm asking you to go out and face into the wind. I'm asking you to not be a summer soldier and a sunshine patriot. I'm asking you to be remembered years from now, like we remember the 183 that stood at the Alamo. Like we remember the men who in 18 minutes defeated Santa Anna at the Battle of San Jacinto. That's our legacy in Texas. Our legacy is not that we run away from a fight. Our legacy is that we run to a fight. And this is the fight that will define you and your mere existence for eternity. Leonidas and the brave Spartans, 490 BC at the Battle of Thermopylae. Leonidas knew they were going to be encircled and they were going to be killed, slaughtered to a man. He chose one Spartan warrior to send a message back to the city-state of Sparta. That message was, go tell the Spartans and strangers passing by that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. And a few thousand years later, a young 26-year-old man, when his garrison was encircled and he knew death was upon him, he wrote a letter. And he handed it over to a young man by the name of Juan Seguin. And he asked him to deliver that letter to Sam Houston. That letter talked about no retreat and no surrender. That letter talked about his honor as a soldier and the honor of his nation that he was willing to die for. That letter was closed by those immortal words, victory or death. 26-year-old by the name of William Barrett Travis. Will you step up to the challenge that all those who have gone before us have? Or will you be a failure and a disappointment to the history of the great state of Texas and these United States of America? But you know what? Something tells me that you ain't going to do that. Because if you were, you wouldn't be here right now. So God bless you all, and thank you so much.